And welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video, I will be going through my round one tips for 2024. Obviously, we've already had two games played on the weekend, so we'll go over them a little bit, but don't want to dive into it too much. Next week, we'll probably dive into results a little bit more. But yeah, so started the week off 1 from 2. Not the best, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We move on from here. So I tipped my Rabbitohs, obviously. Had to go with the heart there. Disappointing result for us. I thought the first half we were pretty good. Start of the second half, we were phenomenal. And then we just, at about the 55th minute, 60th minute, we just couldn't compete. Manly ran over us. And good win for Manly. They look sensational so far this year. So credit to them. Shout out to Luke Brooks. Really, really big performance there. And I thought Ruben Garrick was phenomenal for them too. So a lot of positives to take from Manly. Not so many for the Rabbitohs. But look, there's still positives for both sides, I think. Definitely negatives for both sides as well. Like discipline for both sides, it wasn't great. But at the end of the day, it's a tip wrong for me. You hate that, but you move forward. All right, next up, I took the Roosters to beat the Broncos. We got that one right. Only 16% of people tipped the Roosters. I think that's crazy. I really did think the Roosters had come out firing in this one. And the Broncos, they're missing a lot of experience from last year. Now, I think they will become a force once again, but they were disappointing in this game, in my opinion. A few kicking errors and stuff like that. I thought this was one of Adams. It wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't one of his best performances. And players like James Tedesco killed it, Joey Manu, Terrell May off the bench. Very, very strong performance for the Roosters, so credit to them. But disappointing for the Broncos. That was my tip there, so I got that one. We're 1 and 2. All right, let's talk round one, part 2. So, first game, we got the Newcastle Knights against the Raiders. For the Knights, pretty much the 1 through to 17 that I think most people expected. Dylan Lucas wins that second row spot. Phoenix Crossland will start in the number 9 jersey. I'm assuming Jaden Brayley's still injured there for them. Jack Cogger is probably the biggest surprise, coming on the bench for them. I think the Knights have named a pretty good squad here. For the Raiders, Jordan Rapiner named at fullback. Albert Hopewadi named in the centres. I thought James Schiller probably should have gotten a go there, but at the end of the day, Albert Hopewadi, great player, probably didn't deserve to be out of that squad. So fair shout there. Xavier Savage also named in the number 5 jersey. Ethan Strange wins out in the number 6 jersey over KO Weeks. Danny Levi wins the number 9 jersey there. So Zach Wolford is out of this squad. And then Tom Starling is on the bench for them. Another surprise, Zach Hosking named in the number 12 jersey. Obviously, no Elliot Whitehead and no Corey Horsburgh either. So Morgan Smithies does start the number 13 jersey. Very keen to see how he goes. This matchup should be pretty easy for Newcastle, in my opinion, especially at McDonald Jones Stadium. They don't tend to lose too many there. They put on a good show there for their fans, and they get a lot of support there too. So I do think the crowd will play a big role in getting them home. I am backing the Knights in this one. I am going to say they win this one 13+. I don't see Canberra really competing at all with Newcastle in this one. So yeah, I think it should be a fairly easy win there for the Knights. All right, next up, we've got the Warriors against the Sharks. Now, if we look at the team lists here, again, for both sides, not too many surprises. There was a little bit of speculation that Roger Tuivasa-Sheck would play fullback, but Tane Tuapiki has won that fullback role until CNK returns. Outside of that, not too many surprises there for the Warriors. One that I will say off the bench, Freddie Lussick has been named on the bench with Jazz Tavanga in the number 18 jersey. That was a bit of a surprise, but outside of that, this is a very strong lineup. So credit to the Warriors, they've named a pretty good team there. For the Sharkies, pretty much how I think everybody expected them through 1 through to 17. I think Kale Iro is a little bit unlucky to miss out there. But pretty strong lineup. But I do think the Warriors win this one, and I do think they get a 13+ win in this one. I think they get the job done fairly easily there. Their they're back in New Zealand. They're going to want to put a show on for their supporters. And Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, I think, is just going to carve up. I think Roger is in for a massive game. Also, guys, once I do my recap, I'll give you guys an anytime try scorer for each of these games as well. All right, next up, we've got Storm against the Panthers. Now, there was a little bit of speculation that Cam Munster wasn't going to play this game. He fell over in the shower or something like that and injured his groin. He is named in this one, so I don't know how confirmed he is to play, but at this point in time, he has been named in the squad. Outside of that, like Joe Chan getting named in the second row is a big surprise to me. I thought Sean Blore would have gotten that jersey, but hey, credit to Joe Chan. He has been putting work in the preseason, so credit to him. Tyron Wishart gets the number 14 jersey. Chris Lewis is another one that I didn't expect to see on the bench, but they have gone with him there. Look, Storm, pretty good lineup. Like if Cameron Munster doesn't play, I do think that that definitely changes how I see this game going. But yeah, I think Storm have named a good squad, and they should go into this game with a lot of confidence. For the Panthers, no real surprises 1 through to 13, except the number 9. Luke Summerton has jumped in there. So I'm assuming Kenny is injured. I haven't really heard anything about that. So if he is, let me know down in the comments. But yeah, Luke Summerton jumps Lukey to get that number 9 jersey. Good on him. I think I really like Luke Summerton. I think he can be a very, very good player. And yeah, I think he'll do a job there for them this weekend. Outside of that, like nobody different named in the 13. So pretty normal stuff there. Same with the bench. Like no surprises. 1 through 17 is pretty much outside of Luke Summerton how I think everybody would have expected that. So yeah, Storm and Panthers. Look, 66% of people are tipping the Panthers here. I'll have a look at the form here, but I don't think the Panthers have definitely won. They've won 5 of their last 8 games over the Storm. I think Storm win this. Storm notoriously come out starting the seasons hot. They don't tend to lose round one. They don't. I think, I don't know if they have lost one. Maybe last year. I can't remember who they played last year. But, yeah, look, I think Storm win this. I think it'll be a 1-12 game here. Panthers started the season relatively slow last year. They did bounce, obviously they lost the World Club Challenge last year, then lost to the Broncos, both very close games. I think this one will be an extremely close, tight contest, but I do see the Storm winning this one. I genuinely do. Now, this tip, I will say this tip will change. I will change this tip if Munster is ruled out. If Munster is ruled out, then I will change this tip to the Panthers. But I do think that if Munster plays, all goes well for Storm, they win this game. So Storm is the tip for me. Next up, we've got the first of the Saturday games, the Eels against the Bulldogs. Look, not too many surprises here for the Eels lineup, in my opinion, except for one that I will talk on in a second. So, obviously, Micah Sivo is out, so Bailey Simonson and Sean Russell are the wingers there. Morgan Harper gets the gig in the centres. Outside of that, Joey Lussick to start. That took me by surprise. I thought that was pretty much locked into Brendan Hands, especially when Brad Arthur comes out and says that that they're going to go with one hooker, and they haven't. They've gone with 2, so that is a bit of a surprise to me there. Outside of that, everything's pretty much how I think most people would have had it. So, yeah, 1 through 17, pretty strong lineup there for the Eels. I think that team will be pretty hard to beat. For the Bulldogs, Blake Taaffe named a fullback, not a choice that I would have made. As a Rabbitohs fan, I love what Blake Taaffe brings. I love his energy, but to me, he's not a fullback. He's not a fullback, and yeah, I just don't think he will last long at fullback there for the Doggies. No Bronson Cherry in the starting squad here. He is named in the number 18 jersey, but I don't see him getting into this side. Wouldn't have minded to see him there over Blake Wilson, but Blake killed it in the preseason as well, so he can't really lose his spot there. Max King, obviously, he was always going to be named I'd say he's their best front rower. But Faya Marsili, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. I apologise. He is starting in the number 10 jersey. Really good preseason from him. So credit to him. Jermaine Salmon gets the number 13 jersey over Josh Curran, which was a bit of a shock to me. And then Sam Hughes comes on the bench there in a backup front rower role. Outside of that, I'm not too surprised about this team list. Drew Hutchinson wins it over Sexton in the number 7 jersey as well. All right, so for me, I think we see the Eels get the job done here. I think Parramatta win it. I do think they win this game quite comfortably, so I am tipping them 13 plus. Look, I don't think it'll be like a massive flogging. I'm thinking maybe 20 points to 6 or something like that. I don't think it'll be a huge win for Parramatta, but I think it'll be a good, respectful win over the Bulldogs. I think the Bulldogs will be gritty. They'll come out and play tough, but I do think the Eels will run away with it at the end of this game. Now, this could come back to bite me in the ass, and it might. You never know. But, I just think the Eels at CommBank, they're just going to be too strong. That is my opinion there. So, Parrot 13 plus. All right, next up, we've got the Titans against the Dragons. Seabass Super Stadium. Cracking game this one should be. All right, so, look, Titans, I'd say the biggest shock is probably... Chris Randall getting named in the starting 9 jersey with Sam Verrills coming off the bench. I don't mind it. I think it's a pretty good selection there, but it's a bit of a surprise. Same with Cleese Haas. I was expecting to see Cleese maybe off the bench and have someone like Joe Stimson start in the number 11 jersey, but credit to him. I believe he's been working hard in the preseason, and hey, he deserves that jersey. So hopefully it goes well there for the Titans. Keenan Palacia is named in the number 13 jersey as well, with Tino named in the number 10. So that could be interesting for all you fantasy and Supercoach players out there. Do you take a punt on him? Let me know. And then the bench, pretty much how I think most people would have expected it. So pretty good lineup there for the Titans. Pretty strong lineup. Kieran Foran returned to the number 6 jersey as well. That's great to see. So, it should be a good game. For the Dragons, they pretty much named their squad how they did in the trial against the Tigers. Not too many changes, really. I'm glad Tommy Eisenhuth's getting a run there too. He's a great player, very underrated player in my opinion. And Viliami Fafita coming off the bench for them. Raymond Fatale and Mariner. There's a few inclusions there that I probably wasn't expecting too much. But outside of it, they've named a pretty strong squad here. So I think the Dragons will do pretty well this weekend. However, I am at home. The Titans should win this one, and I do think they will get I'm going to say a 1-12 win, but on the higher end of a 1-12 win, maybe an 8-point win there. All right, final game of the weekend. We've got the Dolphins against the Cowboys. For the Dolphins team list, not too many changes that I would have expected. Cody Nikorima in the number 6 jersey is a little bit of a surprise for me. I thought they would have gone with Isaiah Katoa, but they have gone with Cody Nikorima there. Outside of that, 1 through to 13 is pretty much how I would have expected it. Jack Bostock gets that number 5 jersey. He was great in the trials, as was Tessie New, who wins the number 3 jersey over Jake Avarilla. You've also got Herbie and Tommy Flegler, recruits from this season, leaving the Broncos last season. So be interesting to see how they go in their first official hit out for the Dolphins. Josh Kerr, Max Plath, Kenny Bromwich, and Mark Nichols off the bench. Probably would have expected Kenny to start in place of Caneli Lemuelu, but look, I think that's a pretty good squad, to be honest. I really do. I thought Jared Wallace probably deserved to be there somewhere. I thought he'd been killing it in the preseason, but hey, that shows how much depth this Dolphins side actually has. So not a bad lineup there for the Dolphins. I think they will be tough to beat. For the Cowboys, they've gone pretty strong here. They've named Kyle Felt gets named on the wing there, and Zach Labutt in the centres. So there were 2 positions that were up for grabs, and those 2 both snagged those roles. Jason Tamalolo named in the front row there. Outside of that, not too many surprises from 1 through to 13. The bench, Sam McIntyre's a bit of a surprise for me. I probably would have gone with Thomas McKaylee off the bench. But again, like, you can't really knock it. Pretty strong lineup there for both sides. I think this one will be a cracker of a game. It is being played at Suncorp Stadium. I see that the fans are heading towards the Cowboys here, but I do think the Dolphins start their season strong with a win. So I have actually got all the home teams outside of the Rabbitohs. So that'll be interesting if all the home teams won. So, yeah, Dolphins, I think, win this one 1-12. All right, let's go through and put a multi together for you guys. So, Knights and Raiders, obviously I'm backing the Knights 13 plus. I think Greg Marzhew is a good anytime try scorer. And for the Raiders, I reckon Ethan Strange is a good sniff for an anytime try scorer as well. So they're two that I'm sort of looking at. Warriors and Sharks. Obviously, I've gone Warriors 13 plus here. I think Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is a great shout for an anytime try scorer. And Ronaldo Mulatalo, really good shout for the Sharks for an anytime try scorer. So, yeah, Warriors 13 plus there. Storm and Panthers. Now, again, this is subject to change depending on if Munster plays or not. But at this point of time, he has been named. So, Storm 1-12. If he does play, I do see him scoring a try. I'm going Cam Munster, anytime try scorer. And for the Panthers, I'm going to lock in Taylor May for an anytime try scorer as well. All right, for the Eels and Doggies, obviously I've backed the Eels 13 plus here. And this one, I think I'm going to go a bit safer in this one. I'm going to go Josh Addo-Carr, anytime try scorer. And then over to the Eels, I'm actually going to go Will Penasini to score anytime as well. So there are a couple of players there that I think will cross the line. All right, for the Titans and Dragons, obviously I've backed the Titans in this one 1-12. Anytime try scorers, again, I'm going pretty safe. Alofiana Khan-Pereira for the Titans, and for the Dragons, I'm going Mikhaili Ravalawa. All right, and to wrap it up, the final game of the weekend, Dolphins-Cowboys. Back in the Dolphins 1-12 in this one. I think it'll be a very, very close game. I'm back in Herbie Farnworth in to score his first official try for the Dolphins, and then Valentine Holmes to cross for the Cowboys. All right, guys, let me know who you're backing down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.